on Triad and everywhere you are. WXII 12 News at 5 starts now.
And happening right now on WXII 12 News at 5, a lot of news to get to on this Friday. An effort to put unwanted guns in the right hands, and another bear spotted here in the Triad. But first, following some breaking news out of North Myrtle Beach, and that begins our Tracking the Tropics coverage for you tonight. Rescue crews in North Myrtle are looking for a 19-year-old surfer who vanished in the rough surf this afternoon. The search is in the area of 42nd Avenue North in Cherry Grove. Crews in Horry County say that he was surfing with his brother when he went under. His surfboard was found, but he was not. It's a story we'll continue to follow. We'll bring in the latest details from North Myrtle Beach as they come into our newsroom. And we are continuing to cover the path of Tropical Storm Andrea. The storm has super soaked the Piedmont, especially the eastern region, as you can see from this time lapse of our weather camera in Reidsville. Pretty much the same story in Alamance County. This is video WXII 12 News shot in Burlington. Folks, they're dealing with a lot of water, quite the downpour at times today. And the rains of Andrea also having an effect on traffic in parts of the Triad. Earlier today, police were urging drivers to avoid westbound Interstate 40 in Greensboro near Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. This is some video we shot from early this morning. That stretch of Interstate 40 has since reopened and traffic is moving. Here in the WXII 12 Weather Center with our Chief Meteorologist Lainey Pope, and you're still seeing some rain on Supernova 12 at this hour.
Yeah, it is moving away very quickly, but that heavy batch of rain that was over the eastern Triad is now pushing up over the North Carolina-Virginia line. That is the heaviest rains that we saw in our area today on the western edge of the center of what is now post-tropical storm Andrea. You can see, though, some wraparound showers and storms developing on the backside of this, and that's what we're going to have to deal with scattered about as we go through the evening hours. Look how fast this storm system is moving northeast at 28 miles an hour, forecasted by early Saturday morning to be off the coast there of New York and then push through New England just barely, and then by Saturday afternoon it'll be moving away from the U.S. mainland. You see the wraparound heavy downpours that are taking place right now over Forsyth County, Davidson, as well as Yadkin County. Will take you into the southern part of Stokes County with some heavy rain just west of Brook Cove, and then Yadkinville, heavy rain along Highway 601 and 421, reducing visibility. Travel will be hazardous in these heavy rains, and you see wet weather too northeast of Winston-Salem. Also some heavy rain pushing down Highway 311 and 52, and as we get a little closer to High Rock Lake, there's our first flash of lightning, so we could have isolated thunder with this as well, but it is the heavy rains in a short amount of time that could still cause some problems out there. Your evening forecast has widely scattered showers with some of that heavy rain. We're watching another area of rain and thunderstorms that is south and west of us. It's not associated with Andrea. This will be our rain chance as we head into the weekend. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. Let's check in now with Chris.
The lane closures on I-40 westbound at Harper Road in Forsyth County are postponed this weekend because of the rain. It'll be moved to next weekend. That's music to a lot of people's ears. That was a nightmare last weekend. Take a look at our traffic camera. This is I-40 at Freeman Mill Road. Things are moving right along. Stay updated on Twitter at WXI.
And remember, you can track whatever weather comes your way right down to your neighborhood on your desktop. Just go to WXII12.com and check out the interactive radar feature, one of several features you'll find right there in the weather section. Andrea is bringing choppy surf and high winds to beachgoers along the North Carolina coast. This is some video from Johnny Mercer's Pier in Wrightsville Beach. But even with the wind and rain, visitors to our state say that the storm is not putting a damper on their vacation.
We're enjoying it. It's nice. Aside from the sand biting a little bit when you walk out there, it's nice.
And as that storm moves north, flash flood watch is already in effect for Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston. More of our continuing coverage of Andrea as she moves up the coast. That's coming up at 5:30 tonight. And for all the latest information anytime you want it, just log on to WXII12.com. And as Chris mentioned, because of the wet weather, weekend bridge work on I-40 near the Yadkin River near Clemens has been postponed. This was supposed to be the second weekend in a row for that construction. Last weekend, that work caused some major congestion in that area. It will resume next weekend, weather permitting, and then continue for the next few weeks. Following some breaking news tonight in Southern California, 3 people are injured, 2 of them critically after a shooting near the campus of Santa Monica College in California. The 3rd victim was seriously wounded. Police on the scene say that one of the injured is the shooter. And this just coming into our newsroom, Santa Monica fire officials say that 2 men have been found dead in a burned out home near the college. Right now, a search is underway for a second shooter who may still be on the campus. And we'll keep monitoring that situation outside of Los Angeles and keep you updated. And more breaking news tonight. A Texas woman's been arrested for allegedly sending ricin-based letters to New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg and President Obama. Hallie Jackson's in Washington with the latest on that.
First, she told police it was her husband's fault. Now, federal officials say a Texas actress is charged with threatening the president in ricin-laced letters sent to him and New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Her name's Shannon Guess Richardson. She's a pregnant mom of 5, and her IMDb page says she's had small roles in hit TV shows like The Walking Dead and The Vampire Diaries, and in the movie The Blind Side. A lawyer for her husband says his client had filed for divorce and may have been set up by his wife. If convicted of mailing a threatening communication to the president, Richardson faces up to 10 years in prison. In Washington, I'm Hallie Jackson.
Thank you, Hallie. And the FBI is looking into at least 2 other cases where that deadly poison ricin has been mailed to President Obama and other public figures. The State House was on the clock today. Lawmakers in Raleigh scheduled rare Friday floor and committee work sessions today. They traditionally work Monday through Thursday. House leaders continue to work on a 2-year state budget plan that is expected to hit the floor next week. Meanwhile, today was the first day of the North Carolina Republican Party's annual convention in Charlotte, and there is all kinds of speculation about who will take on Democrat Kay Hagan in next year's U.S. Senate race. Latest poll shows that Congresswoman Virginia Foxx from the 5th District, who has not announced her plans yet, is a slight favorite among Republican voters. Bill O'Neill joins us now in Charlotte with that story.
Republicans are already riding high, winning the governor's race last year, taking over 4 congressional seats, and they feel extremely confident that they can unseat Kay Hagan next year. So far, Greg Brannon, a family doctor with no political experience, and Tom Tillis, Speaker of the North Carolina House, are the only declared candidates. But the list is expected to grow, and quickly, with the GOP primary now less than a year away. We asked GOP delegates, what kind of a candidate are they looking for?
I think he's going to have to be somewhat Reagan-esque.
I think they have to make a very clear message that, they are completely opposite of her.
The poll shows that Virginia Foxx was the most popular among your brethren.
If she was in the race, it would be a race, I can tell you that.
She would definitely be an awesome candidate if she chose to get into the race, but I think that yet remains to be seen.
You think she would? The keynote speaker at the convention this weekend, Karl Rove, the conservative strategist. In Charlotte, I'm Bill O'Neill reporting. Back to you.
Thank you, Bill. The U.S. unemployment rate rose a little bit in May, although companies did add more jobs than expected. The Labor Department reports the unemployment rate rose to 7.6% in May. That's up from 7.5% the month before. Employers, however, added 175,000 jobs, which is a steady pace, but weaker than the hiring seen during the fall and the winter. Labor Department says the unemployment rate rose because more people entered the labor force looking for work. And economists say this is a good sign, and it signals that the economy has withstood the effects of higher taxes and federal budget cuts. Speaking of jobs, the U.S. Airways call center in Winston-Salem is hiring. The Business Journal is reporting tonight that company has 105 openings for full-time and part-time reservation agents. Right now, U.S. Airways is in the middle of a merger with American Airlines. Call center currently has more than 800 employees. An independent review into the way that UNC Chapel Hill handles sexual assault cases has found that the school did not retaliate against a young woman who reported the mishandling of her sexual assault. Landon Gamble was one of several women who spoke out about UNC Chapel Hill's policy. She was facing expulsion from the university for an honor code violation for speaking out. Chancellor Holden Thorpe says that option to expel Gamble has been dropped. A federal probe into UNC's handling of sexual assaults continues. Police have made an arrest in a Burlington shooting. 22-year-old Matthew Bumpus is accused of shooting 34-year-old James McLean Thursday morning outside the 778 Sports Lounge on South Graham Hopedale Road. The victim is in stable condition tonight. And Burlington police are also trying to determine if a fire at the bar that caused $2,000 in damage is related to the shooting. That fire broke out just hours after the shooting. Investigators say that somebody threw an accelerant through a window. Anyone with information should call Burlington Crime Stoppers at 229-7100. We're following a developing story. Police in Hickory are investigating after a woman's body was found inside of a room at a Motel 6. It was discovered by a staff member. Right now, authorities are looking for two people in a white and gray Toyota Previa minivan. They say they may be connected to that woman's death. For the second time this year, Greensboro police are giving you the opportunity to give your unwanted weapons to them. A safe surrender event was held today at the 3 locations you see listed there on your screen, and it continues tomorrow. Police will be accepting handguns, rifles, shotguns, and ammunition. This is not a buyback program. The first safe surrender was in January, and 74 weapons were collected on that day. Well, we have some new video of yet another bear sighting here in the Triad. Greensboro police say that a bear was spotted on Corregidor Street near Freeman Mill Road around 8 o'clock this morning. No word on where the bear went. You can see it ambling across the street, didn't bother anybody, and then went off into the woods. Remembering Holly. Coming up, how friends and family members plan to honor a North Carolina woman whose body was found earlier this week in Wilkes County. Also, there is a new way to get around the Piedmont. We'll find out how much time you can save by taking the Blue Star Memorial Highway. And details on a special showing of a movie about a dog with close ties to our area. You're watching WXII 12 News at 5.